the court. I'm its Jester and Mondo. I blame you for all this. If you hadn't fucked up and killed Chihiro, Taka would probably still be alive right now. But you just had to commit a murder and break his heart, you dumbass. I blame everyone. Taka's blood is on everyone's hands, even the people who were dead at the time of his murder. The one I'm the least upset with right now is Hiro, because he was drugged and stuffed in a locker. He had nothing to do with any of this. Hello. Everyone had heard Monokuma's proclamation, and they were gathered by the red door. And as soon as we were all there...
Monokuma appeared!
What the shit? Why are there two now? Make it go away. Hello? He's multiplied?
Wrong.
Nope, not multiplication. It just looks that way because of an illusion. I'm moving so fast it only looks like I've multiplied. Can you guys tell which one is the real Monokuma? Whew. Can we just get in the elevator already?
Boy, tough crowd.
You're not playing along!
Stop talking.
We're not here to play with you.
Okay.
Okay, fine.
Hey!
Then if everyone's here and ready to go, please board the pain train. Elevator. I'll see you guys down there.
Let's go.
Okay then, shall we?
Please!
Oh, hold on. I'm not mentally prepared yet. Hiro, have you ever been mentally prepared for anything in your entire life?
What the heck?
You'll never be mentally prepared. You can't run away anymore, Hiro. You're gonna pay for your sins. Oh, fuck you, Hina. You sinned more than Hiro did. He at least tried to comfort Taka. Where were you? Where were you, Hina?
What the heck?
I told you already, I didn't do it for serious. That reminds me. Did you ever find the other costume? Or the note? Well, no, but... How unfortunate. Then it would seem we have our culprit. Yeah, it's you, Celeste. It's obviously you, because Hifumi was definitely part of the murders, and you were the only person here he simped for to the point that he would be an accomplice. Hiro, it's gonna be fine.
Hey.
This isn't the place to talk about it. Save your accusations for when we get to the courtroom.
That's right.
She's right. Let's get down there first. Then the story can really begin. Yeah, good idea. That's right. I have to do it. I can't let whoever killed Hifumi and Taka get away with it. For everyone who's still alive. And for the two that lost their lives. The one who killed Hifumi and Taka. The one who killed two of our friends. The killer is... She's right over there. Someone right here. It's Celeste. It's Celeste. Hey, Celeste. It would appear the culprit has been confirmed. Yeah, it's you, bitch. The trial will be over in no time. It's you. Let's just get in the fucking elevator. I took one last deep breath and exhaled slowly. I began to walk toward the elevator. Once everyone was aboard, the doors closed on their own, and the steel box began to move. The clunking of the elevator kept us company as we fell further and further down. There was no going back. Until we settled all this, we couldn't go anywhere. I'm not sure how long it was before the elevator finally came to a stop. The elevator doors slid open, opening up onto a cruel fate. Well, I see all of you gathered together like this. I making us do such cruel things to each other. Oh, you guys are plenty cruel on your own. Did Monokuma make you all leave Taka to drown in his grief alone? Did Monokuma have anything to do with that?
What?
What? Do you really hate me so much? But I'm so cute!
Come on.
Stop goofing around to begin the trial. Like, Monokuma may be giving motives to make you guys kill each other, but Monokuma gave no incentive whatsoever for Byakuya to fucking tamper with a crime scene and string up Chihiro's corpse like he did. That was all Byakuya. Don't rush me! Of course I'm gonna start it! Like I fully believe that Monokuma is at fault here. He is the one who has captured them all here, held them hostage, and is telling them if they want to leave, they have to kill each other. But there is room for personal accountability as well. I would never be like, stay tuned for the action-packed class trial after this commercial break. I never hold out on you like that. Okay, let's begin. Get to your assigned seats. And so, the curtain opened once again. A deadly judgment, a deadly deception, a deadly betrayal, a deadly riddle, a deadly defense, a deadly faith, a deadly class trial! Are you really gonna say that every time, Makoto? Oh, let's set our skills. What else can I have? Okay, the only other one I've gained is Lost in Thought, which gives me more time.
Let's begin with a basic explanation of the class trial. So, your votes will determine the results. If you can figure out who done it, then only they will receive punishment. But if you pick the wrong one, then I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and the one that deceived everyone else will graduate. Now then, to begin with...
We already know who did it.
Shut up, Hina!
Was that?
It was Hiro. He does not have an alibi for when the murders took place, and we found him in that suit. Don't try and deny it. You killed them.
I didn't. Someone knocked me out. I was asleep the whole time. I don't know anything about it.
Shut your murdering mouth, murderer!
Bitch, you're a serial killer!
Who are you calling a murderer?
I am sorry to say, Hiro, but we do have evidence. Blueprints for the suit. Parts we assume were used to build it. And all of it was found in your room. You have to admit, the evidence is quite compelling. It points to you as having created the suit and wearing it while committing crime after crime.
How many times do I have to tell you?
Okay, I fully believe that Celeste and Hifumi planted all that stuff in Hiro's room, but... let me check the volume real quick. But the real question is, how did they... There, that's better. But the real question is, how did they get in Hiro's room? Hiro, have you not been locking your door? Hiro!
I don't know.
Oh. Is Hiro really the killer, or... Before anything else, we have to make that clear.
Everything we found in your room. The blueprints, the suit parts, they are all proof enough that you are the culprit.
I don't know anything about that stuff. It's not true. It's a conspiracy.
Hiro, why? Why did you kill them?
No! Just hold on a second.
The blueprints, the handwriting, that's it.
Everything we found in your room. The blueprints, the suit parts...
Oh, God! Okay, I almost missed it because of the check showing up.
Are we sure Hiro really made those blueprints?
What do you mean?
Well, take a look at this. It's the note that Hiro wrote, asking everyone to meet up after Alter Ego disappeared. The handwriting's obviously different, wouldn't you say? When you compare it to the blueprints.
There's no way you could think the same person made both of them.
Unless that person made it a point to disguise their handwriting.
No, the differences are bigger than that, I think.
Come on! I'm not smart enough to think of trying to change my handwriting anyway.
So Makoto, are you saying you don't think Hiro's the culprit?
Hiro is not the culprit! I'm so heated. You killed my baby, and then the one person still alive that I'm not pissed at, you're all accusing of murder!
And he's not the only one. I think Hiro's innocent as well.
I'm starting to warm up to Byakuya, and that's sad.
What?
Then who was in that Robo-Justice suit? Is it like Hiro said? Was there really someone running around in a second suit?
The suspicious individual hidden within the suit. Go ahead, Makoto. Tell them who it was.
And of course, he passes it off to me.
So? Who was in the Robo-Justice suit?
No one. The suspicious individual in question. Oh wait, Hiro was in the suit.
I got it!
They did shove
Other
it.
than Hiro, I can't think of anyone else it could have been.
Hiro was in the suit, but he didn't kill anyone while he was in it.
Obviously, he was the one in that particular suit. And we never found any kind of second suit.
Then there can be no doubt. Hiro is the prime suspect.
That doesn't make any sense. You just said Hiro didn't do it.
It makes perfect sense. Hiro was the suspicious individual in the suit, but he's not the culprit.
So what you're saying is...
That's right. The culprit in this case has nothing to do with being in the Robo-Justice suit.
What?
Now that's a bold assumption.
And what reason do you have to make such a statement? You do have a reason, yes?
Of course. But before we get to that, there's something else we need to clarify first. So let's get that out of the way.
Hey, stop trying to boss us around.
Why? Why shouldn't he? You're all sheep!
All things have a proper order.
So what is it? What needs to be clarified?
You know, I think part of why I'm starting to warm up to Byakuya is while he was a dick to Taka, Byakuya is a dick to everyone. Taka was not like someone he was being especially mean to. He treated Taka the same shitty way he treated everyone else. But the rest of these fucks, they were shitty to Taka, but they had other people they were nice to. It's easier to forgive someone who's shitty all the time than someone who's capable of being nice, but just chose not to be. Sakura. Byakuya is the new deal, and I hate that! Because if Byakuya is the new deal, then that means I have to start shipping him with Makoto!
We must clarify the method of transportation for Taka's lifeless body.
My baby! They took him from me!
It would seem that his corpse was moved using certain particular items. Makoto, can you tell us what they were?
It was the tarp and the pulley. The blue tarp.
I got it!
There's still one more thing. And the dolly.
I got it! They were a dolly and a tarp, right?
What's with that attitude?
So, let's see if I can explain. Taka's body disappeared from the equipment room, and then we rediscovered it in the repository. And when we found it for the second time, it was wrapped in a blue tarp, right? It was the same tarp that up until then was stored in the equipment room. So the killer must have seen it there and decided to use it when they moved Taka's body. That way, they wouldn't leave any bloodstains while they were moving it.
Okay, that explains the tarp. And the dolly?
Same thing. I'm sure the dolly was in the equipment room when we first found Taka's body there. But when the body disappeared, so did the dolly. Later, when Taka's body reappeared in the repository, so did the dolly.
In other words, you think they used the dolly to move the body, am I right? But are you sure you are not mistaken?
Huh?
Are you absolutely positive the dolly was in the equipment room when we found Taka's body? That dolly was made specifically for moving large objects between the repository and the art room. It would be very strange indeed to discover it had made its way to the equipment room. Is it not possible that it was in the repository all along, and you simply didn't realize it?
She's raised an objection. How do you respond?
You know, Byakuya, you could be a little bit better at support right now.
There is no shame in being wrong. Nobody expects much from you anyway.
I know your hair drills are actually extensions, bitch. I read the manga!
We have all accepted the fact that you rarely understand what is going on around you.
Wow, I've never had anyone sound so nice while being so mean. But maybe I can change your mind. If I can just explain to them why the dolly must have been moved from the equipment room to the repository. A new element has been added. Let's talk about reloading. Starting with this, in the next bullet time battle, we're going to add one more ingredient to the recipe. From the top of the screen to underneath the tempo marker, you will see your ammo count. Up until now, there hasn't really been a limit on how you destroy your opponent's statements, but from now on, just locking on and pressing the Y button won't be enough to handle them. Now it will cost you 1 bullet to destroy a single remark. Once you run out of bullets, you can't destroy any more statements, no matter how locked on you are. However, you can reload by pressing the X button. Okay. Got it.
You have it wrong. I cannot agree. You are a fool. So pathetic. Lies will get you nowhere. Do your worst. Away with you. You miserable wretch.
Bitch!
I cannot agree. You are a fool. Lies will get you nowhere. Do your worst, you miserable wretch. You have it wrong.
Oh, God!
I cannot agree. You are a fool. So pathetic. Lies will get you nowhere. Do your worst. Away with you. You miserable wretch. I cannot agree. You are a fool. Lies will get you nowhere. I cannot agree.
This should prove it. If you're asking for proof that the dolly moved, I have it right here. When I found the dolly in the repository, one of the wheels had a blood stain on it. There was a pool of blood in the equipment room with a tire mark in it that matched the dolly wheel's tread. The killer probably rolled the dolly through the blood on accident as they wheeled the body out of the room. And as the blood dried on the tire, they moved the body into the repository. So there's my proof that the dolly was used to move Taka's body.
Jeez, does Celeste really hate me that much?
Well, anyway, that was just something we had to get out of the way. Let's get back to the main subject.
Yeah, the subject of how Robo-Justice didn't do it. Because if it's not a killer robot, then what kind of robot is it?
Oh my God, Hina.
I'm not sure that really matters.
I'd be happy to explain why the occupant of the suit couldn't possibly be the killer. If you look back on how the body was transported, it will become immediately obvious.
If I look back at how the body was moved, it'll be clear why the person in the suit couldn't have done it. What does he mean by that? Dude, when you're in the suit, you can't bend over. And you needed to bend over to grab the handle of the pulley.
As we know, Taka was killed in the equipment room. And from there, the body was moved to the repository, correct?
Yeah, the culprit wrapped the body in the tarp, then loaded it onto the dolly and wheeled it off, right?
Now, keep in mind that the dolly doesn't have a handle.
Well, yeah, but even without a handle, all you'd have to do is bend over.
No, that's wrong. You're absolutely right that you could push a dolly without a handle if you stoop down low. But if you were wearing that suit, do you think you could actually get into a position like that?
What do you mean?
Think back to what you said when we were all checking out the suit together, remember?
God, Sayaka and Hifumi's photos just haunting us in the background. I'm as blind as a bat in here. Can't see my feet at all. I'm surprised you got anywhere in this thing. I'm telling you, it wasn't me. And not to mention, you totally can't bend at the waist. Seems like a pretty obvious oversight.
When you're in that suit, not only can you not see your feet, but you can't even bend at the waist. Am I right about that?
Now that you mention it, yeah.
It seems like it'd be awfully hard to push that dolly if you couldn't bend over.
Well, what's to stop you from simply pushing the dolly with your feet?
When you can't even see your feet? You really think someone could kick the dolly all that way?
Yeah, it'd be totally impossible. Not that I can say for sure myself.
On top of that, if you were wearing such a rigid, cumbersome suit, it's very unlikely you would have the dexterity to go about wrapping the body in a tarp.
Well, I mean, isn't that just a matter of taking off the suit when you're ready to move the body?
There's absolutely no chance that the costume was taken off just to move the body because you can't take it off by yourself.
I got it! I don't think taking off the suit was an option. If you remember...
I don't know what's up with this thing, but I can't actually get it off. A little help? Why would you make something that you can't take off by yourself? I didn't make the stupid friggin' thing! There's a clasp on the back that's keeping you from getting it off. It looks pretty sturdy. I don't think you can get it off on your own. We don't really have a choice then. Let's help him.
That's true. It seems impossible to put the suit on or take it off without help.
Then, you really can't take it off by yourself? Hiro wasn't just making it up?
Of course I wasn't making it up.
If he could have gotten it off by himself, I don't think he would have let us see him wearing it. Showing up in the suit was basically an invitation for everyone to suspect it.
Yeah, that's right.
So, it's really, really true that Robo-Justice couldn't have moved the dolly?
To be clear, whoever did move the body, it couldn't have been Hiro in the robot suit, correct?
No, wait. Just a second, if you please. Have you forgotten about the picture that I took? You all got a good look at it, did you not? The image of Hifumi being dragged away by Robo-Justice? If whoever was in that suit is not the culprit, how do you explain that? Besides, do you remember what the now deceased Hifumi said?
How did you get hurt? That guy hit me. What guy? Robo-Justice. What I decided to call him just now?
So long as those facts exist, the proper conclusion is beyond question. The individual inside the suit and the culprit are one and the same. It was Hiro, without a doubt.
Yeah, that's gotta be right.
Hina, you will listen to whatever lie you are told by someone as long as that someone is a cute girl.
Hold on a second!
It's still far too early to reach that conclusion. Besides, there's no hurry to decide who did it.
We are literally on a timer!
Before we rush to a verdict, shouldn't we explore every single possibility? Instead of seizing on one viewpoint, the truth is uncovered by analyzing things from every angle.
Perhaps, but where do we go from here?
Let's review this series of unfortunate events from the beginning. Maybe we'll uncover something new.
What a pain in the ass!
I'm with Jill.
I don't disagree, but our lives are on the line. If this is what it takes, we have to do it.
Plus, maybe we'll get to find out where the heck Kyoko was when everything went down.
All right then, let's take another look back at what happened. I suppose we could start with this morning. 4 of us gathered together in the dining hall. Makoto, Hina, Kyoko, and myself. We waited there for quite a while, but nobody else showed up, so we went to look for everyone. That was around 8 a.m.
And as soon as we split up, Kyoko went missing.
Soon after that, Hina found Celeste in the rec room and quickly came to get Makoto and me.
It seems I was unconscious for about an hour after I was attacked by my mystery assailant. I know it was an hour because I remember being attacked a little after 7.
That was when we saw Celeste's picture and discovered that her assailant had been wearing a strange costume. As it turns out, it was Robo-Justice. It also soon became clear that this same Robo-Justice had abducted Hifumi. We were soon joined in our search by Byakuya and Toko, and then went on to find Hifumi in the library. He was injured, so we took him to the nurse's office and resumed our search for the suspect. But not long after leaving the nurse's office...
What's wrong? I saw a shadow. Something moving around at the top of the stairs.
When Celeste told us that, we decided to split up and search the second floor. And soon after that,
I saw someone moving around on the 3rd floor, and I yelled out to everyone as soon as I did.
Celeste, what's wrong? That was a rather intense scream for someone like you. I saw him. That strange costumed man. He ran off as soon as I screamed. I was blocking the stairs, so he headed further down into the hallway and disappeared.
and then...
Huh? What was that? That came from downstairs. It must have been... Hifumi! He's in the nurse's office! This is bad. Come on, we have to go back.
At that point, we decided to divide up into 2 groups. Celeste, Hina, and I went back to the nurse's office, while Sakura, Byakuya, and Toko chased after the suspect.
You know, this is easily, like, the worst trial in the game. Because it's so because the second you figure out that it wasn't Hiro, that he was in the suit and he couldn't have killed people while in the suit and he was telling the truth about being kidnapped and put in there, it's very obvious that it had to have been Celeste with Hifumi acting as an accomplice. And the game is acting like, oh my god, this is such a mystery. It's gonna be so hard on the players. I have to recite the events of everything to give them a little hint, to give them a helping hand because of how hard this trial is. And meanwhile, it's like, the second you see Hifumi's glasses were cleaned after his body was moved, you're like, you weren't fucking dead. You weren't dead. And you were an accomplice, and the only person you would have been an accomplice to was Celeste, so she did all this!
When we got back to the nurse's office, we found Hifumi, dead.
No, you didn't!
And that's when we heard the body discovery announcement. I left Celeste and Hina there and headed back to the 3rd floor, to let the others know what had happened.
Meanwhile, we had just discovered Taka's body in the equipment room. We must have found both bodies at almost exactly the same time. Because we heard the same announcement not long after we discovered his body.
And that's when I told you guys about Hifumi. Then the three of us headed for the nurse's office. But right after we left the physics lab, we ran into Celeste, who'd arrived after us, and she told us something very surprising.
Hifumi's body has disappeared.
We rushed back to the nurse's office and saw that she was right.
Then we remembered we'd left Toko passed out in the equipment room, so we hurried back again.
This can't be happening. Are we hallucinating all this or something?
But when we got there, we discovered that now Taka's body had also gone missing. Next thing we knew, we were searching the school for 2 missing dead bodies. And after some time...
Celeste informed us that she'd found the bodies, and we all headed to the repository, which is where we rediscovered the corpses.
I think that about covers it.
Are we done now?
I see. The whole thing sounds exceptionally complicated. It certainly seems to me that these are not a simple series of connected events.
Okay, well, if that's true, then what?
Rather than a single series of events, I think we have to consider each murder a separate situation. And from there, we can uncover the contradictions surrounding all of them. Now then, let's get started, beginning with what happened to Taka.
The contradictions hidden in what happened to Taka. In order to uncover the truth of this case, I have to find them no matter what.
So, regarding Taka's death, I wonder if he died before Hifumi, or perhaps it was after?
We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the Justice Hammers.
It's true that Hifumi was killed with Justice Hammer 3, while Taka's death came from a swing of Justice Hammer 4.
See? So it's obvious Taka came after.
So, regarding Taka's...
I wonder if... Or perhaps it was... We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last.
What makes you say?
Because of the numbering of the Justice...
It's true that Hifumi was killed with Justice Hammer 3, while
Taka's death came...
See? So it's obvious Taka came after.
So,
I wonder if... Or perhaps it was... We already know what order they were killed. Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the Justice Hammers.
Oh god, I
it's true
missed
that
it.
Hifumi was killed, while Taka's death
came from a...
See? So it's obvious Taka came after.
We are just burning time.
Regarding Taka, I wonder if he died. Or perhaps it was... We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the Justice Hammer.
No, that's wrong.
They're all so stupid.
Hold on. There's no reason to assume that the hammers were used in the same order as their numbers.
You wanna know what I would do if I wanted to kill someone in this game? I would hit someone over the head with something heavy. I would, like, the hardest part of my plan would be I have to make sure someone bleeds out slowly rather than instantly dies. So I would make sure I'd stab someone, do something that I know wouldn't kill them immediately, give them time to bleed out. I watch them bleed out, you know, like a totally sane and well-adjusted person would do. Then I grab their hand, stick their finger in their bloody wound, and then use their hand to write down the name of Byakuya, because he is the best person to frame, because everyone would believe it was him, on the floor or somewhere else. And then I leave, and I hide the evidence of what I did under my bed, because no one here is smart enough to look there. And then they would all think it was Byakuya. And if they actually figured out it wasn't him, well, they'd probably guess someone else. Are they really gonna think it was me? If I'm just quiet during the trial and going, hey guys, it said Byakuya, I mean, like, come on, this is case open and shut. Like, come on. Are they really gonna find evidence? I mean, they don't do a very good job of searching people's rooms.
If anything, that's just another way the killer tried to disguise their actions.
Like, the main reason everyone here seems to be getting caught on their murders is because they, like, are ridiculously overcomplicating things. Or in Mondo's case, just outright admitting it.
So you're saying the culprit wanted us to think the hammers were used in order, but in reality, Taka was killed before Hifumi? Okay then, let's see the proof.
Evidence that proves Taka was killed before Hifumi. The watch. The broken watch. Oh, we're doing Hangman's Gambit. Yeah, wristwatch, yeah. Give me an A. Give me an H. There we go.
Now I understand. I've got it. Taka's wristwatch. See? Look. It broke with the hands pointing just past 6 o'clock.
Where would you get the poison, though?
It must have gotten broken when he was attacked by the killer. Because as of last night...
Hey you, do you know how long you were keeping us waiting? Taka's irritated voice pierced the air as he started pointing at his wristwatch. It's almost 10 o'clock, you know that? Bedtime for all the good little boys and girls.
So if it wasn't broken after 6 last night, then he must have been attacked around 6 this morning.
And that would be his official time of death.
But if that's true, then he was killed well before Hifumi.
And before Celeste was attacked this morning, which happened around 7.
That's right. Taka was killed before any of the other incidents took place.
That simple fact slipped past all of us. We made the wrong assumption about the order of events, all because of those justice hammers.
That's exactly why the culprit wrote the numbers on each hammer and had them increase in size. That way, when we saw how they were used in each incident, we'd easily make that wrong assumption.
Now, if Taka was killed around 6, then everyone's alibis for his murder go out the window. Because when he was killed, we hadn't met up in the dining hall yet.
That may be true in the case of Taka's murder. But all of our alibis still hold true for Hifumi's death.
That's right. With him, at least, we're all safe.
I'm not repeating the same fucking dialogue over and over again because you kids are such idiots, you need the flashbacks!
Hiro and Kyoko. Then we all ran down to the nurse's office, and that's where we found his body.
That's totally true. We're all in the clear.
Oh, I know! They must have recorded him screaming on a tape or something, then played it later on!
If that's true, where's the tape?
I don't know.
Don't just go making stuff up.
Why not?
Anyway, we all have rock-solid alibis for when we heard Hifumi scream. Since all of us were there together, clearly none of us could have killed him.
And it does not stop there. There was also the moment when we discovered his body had disappeared. When his body vanished from the nurse's office, Hina and I were in the bathroom together, while everyone else was in the equipment room, correct? And then there's the disappearance of Taka's body from the equipment room. At that time, we were all gathered together in the nurse's office because of Hifumi going missing.
Well, don't forget, I was passed out in the equipment room the whole time.
Wait, then what if Genocide Jill did it? She could have dragged Taka's body out of there right then!
Even if she could pull that off, there's no way she could have done the same with Hifumi's body. Because, as we just established, she was passed out in the equipment room when his body disappeared.
Besides, I didn't do either of them anyway.
In other words, it is impossible that any of us could have killed Hifumi or moved either of their bodies. On the other hand, Hiro and Kyoko had disappeared, so they most certainly could have done those things.
So
So what now, Kyoko?
For now, we can't get fixated on who did it, or we'll just keep going around in circles. So instead of who, I propose we start talking about how. In particular, I think we need to figure out how Hifumi's body got moved.
That's true. We searched everywhere, but we couldn't figure out how to explain his body disappearing.
He got up and he walked.
And according to what Celeste said,
We could not have been gone for more than a minute or two, though. So then the killer was able to get in and move Hifumi's body in that short amount of time? It would seem so.
his body apparently disappeared in the 1 minute her and Hina took their eyes off of it. But to carry that much weight from the first floor up to the third in that short amount of time?
Oh man, yeah! There's no way! It'd be impossible!
Well, what if I told you there was a way to make the impossible possible?
What? How?
If the dead body were to move itself.
The dead body moved on its own?
No! Not another... ghost!
You guys do not get to treat this like a dramatic reveal with the music changing.
I don't think it has anything to do with the occult. I think what she's implying is, we thought Hifumi was dead, but perhaps in reality he was still alive.
Yeah, you guys stopped checking for pulses. You should have kept doing that.
He was alive?
Are you saying Hifumi wasn't carried out of the nurse's office, but simply walked out on his own?
But I mean, we found his body. He was dead.
Perhaps he was simply playing dead.
That it isn't possible.
The idea that Hifumi was still alive. Is it really possible?
Are you saying that when we first found Hifumi in the nurse's office, there's a chance he was actually still alive?
No, it is impossible. Hifumi was dead, without a doubt.
And you know that how?
Surely you heard the body discovery announcement along with the rest of us. Hifumi's dead body had been found. And that is why the announcement was made.
Are we really so sure about that? Maybe the announcement was intended to signal someone else's discovery.
Are you saying that when we first found Hifumi in the nurse's office, there's a chance he was actually...
No.
Hifumi was dead, without a doubt.
And you know that how?
Surely you heard the body discovery announcement along with the rest. Hifumi's dead body had been found. And that is why the announcement was made.
Are we really so sure about... Maybe the announcement was intended to signal someone else's discovery.
I think we have to save that and bring it
Are you
over.
saying that when we first found there's a chance
No, it is impossible. Hifumi was dead, without a doubt.
And you know that
How?
Surely you heard the body discovery announcement. Hifumi's
Dead body had been found.
Got it.
no, that's wrong. Was the body discovery announcement that was made really intended for Hifumi?
Of course it was. The announcement played right after we discovered his body.
Maybe. But that was also the same time that Taka's body was found.
That's right. It wasn't long after finding his body that we heard the announcement.
So there's a good chance we've made a mistake in there somewhere. I think we've confused whether the announcement was for Hifumi or Taka.
First of all, if 2 bodies had been found, there really should have been 2 announcements.
Maybe Monokuma simply got lazy and rolled them together into one.
What do you say, Monokuma? Any comment?
Well, it's a very sensitive issue, so I can't go into too much detail. But what I can say about the body discovery announcement is that it's only broadcast when 3 or more people find a dead body for the first time.
That didn't answer our question, man. We're asking if you're a lazy bum.
No, actually, that was plenty.
Huh?
He said it's only broadcast when a body is discovered for the first time, which means even if we find the same body again later, he won't make the announcement again. If that's true, then why was the announcement made again later on?
Huh? Later on?
Exactly. We heard the body discovery announcement twice.
The second body discovery announcement. The first time I played was when we found each body in the nurse's office and the equipment room. And the second one was when both bodies were rediscovered.
I got it! We heard it a second time in the repository, when we rediscovered the 2 bodies. It didn't seem weird at the time, but it contradicts what Monokuma just told us, doesn't it?
Exactly. If we were actually rediscovering both bodies, the announcement shouldn't have played.
Then in reality, when the 2 dead bodies were rediscovered, one of them was actually being discovered for the first time.
So, when we found Hifumi the first time in the nurse's office, he wasn't actually dead yet. Meaning, he wasn't actually found dead until we came upon him in the repository.
And that's just part of it. There's one other thing that leads me to believe he was still alive in the nurse's office.
Oh, I know! Because he was super good at playing dead! Bada bing, bada boom!
That is the worst logic I have ever heard. But honestly, I do not think there's anything that can prove he was still alive.
Okay then, let's take another look at the events surrounding the discovery of his body. Then it should become clear whether he was really alive or not.
This whole thing is pointless.
There has to be proof that shows Hifumi was still alive. I have to find it and show everyone. His glasses! Dude, the glasses wipe in the trash literally had his waifu on it.
Well, here's one thing we do know. The first time we found Hifumi's body was in the nurse's office. And then, while me and Celeste were in the bathroom, his body disappeared.
And the next time we saw his body, it was in the repository.
But when you compare his body before being moved and his body after being moved, other than
The change in how it was positioned.
Shoot!
No, I clicked too early.
Well, here's one thing. The first time we found Hifumi, and then his body
And the next time, it was in.
But when you compare his body other than the change,
there was no
Notable difference.
There, click that one.
No, that's wrong! In fact, there was one clear difference between Hifumi in the nurse's office and the repository. His glasses. That fact alone proves that he was only playing dead in the beginning.
Perhaps you'd like to fill the rest of us in?
When we found Hifumi in the nurse's office, his glasses were covered with blood. But when we found him again later in the repository, they were spotless. And I found the item he used to wipe them clean in the nurse's office trash can.
The evidence I found in the trash can was...
I got it! It was a glasses cleaning cloth featuring a certain cartoon mascot. One look at the bloodstain on the cloth should make things clear. This piece of cloth was used to wipe Hifumi's glasses clean. And the mascot on the cloth is the same one that's on the digital camera, right? And whose digital camera was it? Hifumi's, of course.
The character was Princess Piggles. From Demon Angel Pretty Pudgy Princess, I think.
I highly doubt anyone but Hifumi would have brought something like this to school.
I see your point. And the only people here who wear glasses are...
I wouldn't be caught dead using a tacky piece of garbage like that.
A few tissues is all I need to keep my glasses clean.
Then there's no question. It belonged to Hifumi.
So what you're saying is... what exactly?
What I'm saying is, the blood on his glasses was wiped away using his own glasses cleaning cloth.
Even if that is true, it does not mean he wiped the blood off himself.
But who would benefit from a clean pair of glasses other than the glasses owner?
That's a good point.
Then it must have been him, right?
So let's assume that Hifumi was still alive in the nurse's office. He pretends to be dead. Then when he's alone, he wipes his glasses clean so he can see. Then he stands up and walks out on his own 2 feet. And with that, the impossible task of moving his copious corpse becomes possible, wouldn't you say?
But then, if he was just pretending to be dead, what was with all that blood? Was it paint or something?
The fridge in the nurse's office contains packs of blood for emergencies. He probably used one of those.
He figured if he was gonna play dead, he should go all out, so he just dumped it everywhere! But he got crazy with it and had to wipe his glasses off when he was done! God, what an idiot!
Thank you, Jill.
And if Hifumi was still alive at that point, the disappearance of Taka's body is easily explained. It should be perfectly obvious who must have moved Taka's corpse.
Hifumi.
I got it! It could only have been Hifumi.
While we were all gathered in the nurse's office, he went to the equipment room and took Taka's body.
That also explains how the door to the repository got locked.
The door was locked?
Well, after the bodies disappeared, we all went looking for them, right? So me and Sakura headed for the repository. But when we got there, the door was locked.
And the repository door can only be locked from the inside. Which means, when Hina and Sakura got to the repository, someone was already inside.
And it could only have been Hifumi, who just finished stashing Taka's body there.
He convinced us all he was dead, and when he saw his chance, he dragged Taka's body to the repository. So, Hifumi wasn't just another victim in this case. He was one of the assailants.
But that means he took part in the murders.
Why is that surprising? You guys have been murdering each other left and right.
I just can't believe it.
I can.
If you're having trouble, would you like me to show you one more piece of evidence?
I mean, I was nicer to Hifumi than most, and even I know he kind of sucked.
There's more?
Like, I think he was lonely and sad and needed a friend, but I also think he would have killed for pussy.
Oh, absolutely. The single biggest fact pointing to his involvement has yet to be revealed. You know what I'm talking about, right, Makoto? The item he took off of Taka's lifeless body?
A lonely teenage boy obsessed with an anime and a cute gothic Lolita girl asking him to be an accessory to murder. He'd do it. He'd do it in a heartbeat. The thing that Hifumi stole from Taka. The note.
Shoot!
Oh, I clicked the wrong thing. Hifumi's note. The note Hifumi had.
I got it! You're talking about the note Hifumi had hidden away, aren't you?
Hidden note?
That's right. We found it stuffed in his pants.
What? In his...
You guys all went down to the locker room to examine Chihiro's genitals literally a week ago. You're surprised Kyoko was rummaging around in someone's pants again?
Pants?
Yes, his pants.
Okay, well, forget about the pants for now. Take a look at what the note says.
I found a hole maybe we can use to escape. Monokuma can't find out, so don't tell anyone else. For now, let's meet in the equipment room at 6 a.m.
Ah, that's the note I was telling you about. The one that told me where to go. Huh? Wait, this one's a little different. In my note it said, Monokuma can't find out, so don't tell anyone else for now. Let's meet in the rec room at 1 a.m.
I see. Then this note isn't the same one Hiro got.
It's not the same?
In other words, the killer got in touch with another person besides Hiro. And that person could only have been... I got it! That's right! Taka! The killer used this note to draw out Taka and murder him.
My baby.
Hello? Over here! Objection! Objection! I don't really understand what's going on, but Hifumi had that letter, right? So whoever wrote it wasn't drawing out TikTok, they were drawing out Huffy!
I love that Jill calls Taka TikTok. That is such a cute nickname.
Just to be clear, TikTok is Taka and Huffy is Hifumi, right?
I don't think Huffy is a very nice thing to call Hifumi, but he's been a bad boy and has lost the title of My Little Hamster.
Ugh! Yes! Why must you ruin it every time?
Man, Genocide Jack is seriously scary, but still, I can't let her get to me.
Huffy had the note, right? Then the person it was intended for must have been Huffy!
But remember what the note said. What time did it say to meet?
6 a.m., I believe.
The time doesn't matter! The note has nothing to do with TikTok!
No, that's wrong! No, there absolutely is a connection.
What the hell are you talking about?
The note said to meet at 6 a.m., which is the same time Taka was murdered. We've already proven that using his wristwatch. But there's more. Look where the note says to meet. The equipment room, right?
Which is where Taka was killed. I see.
So, Taka was murdered at both the time and place written in the note. I think that should be plenty to show that this note was definitely meant for Taka.
Well, when you put it like that... No further objections!
Then someone used that note to trick Taka. Just the same as me. The culprit really is a cold-blooded monster. Telling people they found a way out.
But if they gave the note to Taka, what was Hifumi doing with it?
He took it off Taka's corpse.
Stuffed down his pants, no less!
Most likely. Hifumi stole it off Taka's corpse after he died.
Huh? He stole it?
Yeah, we already established that Hifumi's a murderer, and you're, baffled that he would stoop as low as stealing?
Where's your proof? Go ahead, show us.
I got it! When I searched Taka's body, I saw that his lifeless hand was gripping a small scrap of paper.
I have complicated feelings for Hifumi. I pity him to the point that I kind of have a soft spot to him. I feel bad! He's a lonely teenager who likes anime and doesn't have any friends, and I'm pretty sure he wouldn't have killed people if it wasn't for the death game. He did, but I feel like bad about it. Like, it's complicated. Like, I feel like Hifumi felt bad.
If I'm right about this, the sheet of paper this piece came from is... I knew it! It fits perfectly with the note we found hidden on Hifumi.
Like, part of it is, I genuinely, as mean as I am to all these characters... Okay, that's a difference. Hifumi's dead. He can't talk shit right now. When Hifumi was alive and talking shit, I really tore into him. The reason is, I'm trying not to be super mean. It's just hard.
Then Taka's scrap and Hifumi's note.
I'm also saying things like, yeah, Hifumi's the kind of guy that would kill for pussy. That's not exactly a nice thing to say about someone.
Yup. They're from the same piece of paper.
I think part of it is that narratively, Hifumi is condemned by the narrative. Like, Hifumi is, hey, Hifumi did bad things, and in the game, it is acknowledged by the other characters and the narrative that what Hifumi did was bad. But other characters, when they kind of do... So when other characters do bad things, but it's like, this character's the hero, they don't get held accountable. So I'm harder on the character, like, I see Hifumi being held accountable. I don't feel the need to be as hard on him because the narrative's already being hard on him for me. But then when I see other characters that are being shitty and they're not being held accountable by the narrative, I feel like it's my job to be harder on them.
Hifumi had the note meant for Taka, while Taka's corpse still grasped a small piece of that note.
Also, my feelings towards Hina, there's like a deep-seated envy that will be brought up at a later date. It will all make sense in time. I even have another reason for why I'm, like, not as mad at Hifumi as I should be that I'll explain later. It's kind of complicated, like, I don't want to, like, my reactions and feelings to things have been changed by the fact that I've played this game before, but I don't want to bring up the things that are, like, the cause of those feelings until those things are revealed in the game.
There's only one way to explain it.
Hifumi's a dirty murderer, yeah, I know.
Taka died clutching the note. Hifumi tried to free the note from his death grip.
And he couldn't even do that right. Hifumi's a loser.
Leaving behind only one small scrap. Did I get all that right?
That means Hifumi knew the note was important.
Exactly. Which proves that he was an accomplice in the murder.
Also, another part of it is, like, I don't really have standards for, like, a lot of, like, I'm, like, easier on, like, Byakuya lately because I just have no standards for him. I actually expect the others to be better, and when they're not, it disappoints me.
Whoa. Yeah. After seeing all this, Hifumi was super involved in this whole thing for sure.
Hifumi is the worst person ever to choose as an accomplice to murder. He's really incompetent. It's very obvious he would get you caught. And if Hifumi wasn't dead right now and he had actually somehow survived, he would have cracked under interrogation by this point.
In fact...
Like, literally when Kyoko said, hey, Hifumi, stop trying to hump the laptop, Hifumi started screaming bloody murder and saying that Kyoko was going to kill him. So, Hifumi would not survive the slightest bit of interrogation.
He was behind the whole thing! In fact, he's still alive!
Yeah, no, he super died in Hina's arms.
Sorry, no. When we found him in the repository, Hifumi was truly and completely dead. The second body discovery announcement proves that.
So then, who killed Hifumi?
The most things I know about about the other games is I know the names of the characters in them and their ultimates. And I know that there's a despair disease thing. But I don't know how it affects the people there.
Whoever did is the mastermind, the true killer.
He was killed in the repository. So he must have been killed not long after transporting Taka's body.
So, he must have been killed after Taka's body vanished, but before we found both bodies in the repository.
During that time, we'd all split up and were searching for Taka's missing body. In other words, during that time, none of us have alibis.
Wait, but me and Sakura were together.
You and Sakura are always together. That's not new.
Stop trying to steal the spotlight, you stupid walrus!
Damn, Jill!
Who are you calling a walrus?
Anyway, when they were killed bothers me too. But there's something that's been bothering me even more.
And what might that be?
The weapon they used to kill Hifumi.
The weapon?
Yeah, because I mean, according to the Monokuma file, the way Taka and Hifumi were killed was almost the same, with them having similar fractures and all. But Justice Hammer 3 and 4 were still laying around in the nurse's office and equipment room, right?
There were mallets in the art room, Hero. Pay attention to your surroundings.
So if Hifumi was killed in the repository, the culprit would have had to grab one of the hammers, kill Hifumi, then put the hammer back where they found it. But wouldn't that be seriously risky for him?
I'm surprised. It seems there's some semblance of a brain knocking around that skull of yours after all.
Really, Tin Man? You're gonna give Scarecrow shit?
Hell yeah, it's packed in there good and tight.
He's right, though. I don't understand it either. The Monokuma file makes it clear that they were killed using similar instruments. But if the hammers were already laying around those other rooms...
So the question is, how could the culprit have gotten their hands on either of the hammers? Personally, I haven't a clue.
Bitch, you did it! Celeste, you did it! Celeste!
So which hammer was used to attack Celeste? Number 1 or number 2?
Those were accounted for in other rooms too. And I don't think either one is big enough to kill someone.
Then,
I thought we agreed the number thing was bullshit.
Is it not possible they used a different weapon?
I don't think it is possible. They were both killed with the same kind of thing, right?
So then, what was used to kill Hifumi?
The mallet in the art room. Remember how one of them was wet while the others were all chalky? The wet one obviously had blood wiped off it.
What was used to kill Hifumi?
This.
Was it Justice Hammer 3?
Shoot!
I really am just like, I'm fucking
What was
up
used
because
to-
of how
was it
little I
Justice
care.
Hammer 3? Maybe Justice Hammer 4?
Well, whatever it was, there's one thing we have to figure out. How was the culprit able to move around so freely with the weapon? How did nobody witness them carrying it?
Sounds like a Justice Hammer 5 is about to make its appearance! Check out murdergear.com/hammertime for more info!
Shoot!
What was used? Was it just maybe Justice?
well, there's one. How was the culprit? How did nobody...
Sounds like a Justice. Check out murdergear.com/.
Well, one thing seems pretty clear. The murder weapon had to be one of the Justice Hammers.
You know what's interesting?
No, wrong.
Nothing's interesting. This sucks.
The murder weapon wasn't a Justice Hammer at all. No, it was something completely different.
I find it absolutely wild that everyone has agreed Hifumi is part of this, and Hifumi was but when they're trying to figure out who killed Hifumi, they're like, what was the murder weapon? Not, hey, who would Hifumi be an accomplice to murder for? You know, the girl he calls his mistress, that he serves tea to and, like, puts up with all her crap? Maybe her? Maybe her. Maybe he did it for her.
But, seriously? A different weapon?
Specifically, a hammer from the repository. The killer could have easily used that to kill Hifumi.
You know, if Taka had to be murdered in this game, couldn't it have at least been for, like, a good trial? Because the fact that it was this bad of an attempt to get away with murder is honestly the insulting part.
Now, All the hammers in the repository were covered in flecks of grit and debris.
What do they think he was doing?
But for some reason, one of them had been scrubbed clean.
Huh?
And the reason it had been scrubbed clean was most likely because it was used to commit murder.
Like, if you're gonna kill my baby, can you at least be competent about it? Couldn't you have just been like, I don't know, maybe almost gotten away with it? Like, a little bit more? Like...
If the hammer got covered in Hifumi's blood, of course they'd have to clean it off. I'd also like to point out that the repository has all kinds of hammers. Big ones, small ones, and even some flat mallet-like ones. I think whoever made the Justice hammers used those as a basis for their design.
If that's true, that would explain the Monokuma file's note about the wounds being similar.
So Hifumi moved Taka's body to the repository, where someone then used a hammer to kill him.
And whoever did that is the true killer. The one Hifumi was working with. And the one who betrayed him.
Hold on a moment. I still think it's strange to assume someone was working together with him. The way the graduation rule works, there is no benefit to helping someone else carry out a murder. So the idea that anyone would work together like that is simply ludicrous. We talked about this, did we not?
We did talk about how there wouldn't be any reason for anyone to work together. You talked about how only an idiot would be an accomplice when there's clearly nothing they get out of it. Hifumi's an idiot. He's got a tiny little hamster brain. At least that's what we thought at first, but... Hey, did you know that hamsters, when they blink, they don't close both their eyes at once? They blink one eye at a time. A fun little hamster fact for everyone.
Based on the rules that have been laid out for us, even if more than one person is complicit in the murder, only the one who actually carried out the act can graduate and survive. Assuming the rule holds true, it is simply impossible that two people work together on this.
That is how the rule was explained to us.
But that only really applies if there's one murder, right? In this case, however, there were two murders.
Based on the rules that have been laid out for us,
Even if more than one...
only the one who actually carried out the act, assuming
The rule holds true.
No, that's wrong.
I feel like, I do like the thing of they're making it so you have to...
Since there were two murders, it's at least plausible that more than one person was involved.
I do like how they're doing the thing of... I think it is an interesting feature to add that they're making you listen through all the dialogue because you can't just immediately have your truth bullet off at the first thing they say wrong, because you have to wait until you can collect a truth bullet from something that's said after the initial statement. But the fact that they're introducing it in this trial seems like, hey, we're gonna make things harder for something that's really, really obvious.
What do you mean?
If there'd only been one murder, then yes, the idea of an accomplice isn't really worth considering. Naturally, if only one person can be saved per murder, an accomplice has no risk versus reward benefit.
Risk versus reward benefit?
The payoff for working together. The reward that balances out the risk of taking part in a scheme.
Pussy.
There's no point in being someone's accomplice if there's no benefit to you.
Pussy.
However, if there were some potential mutual reward for the risk, then cooperation becomes possible.
Ow! Was that a steak?
You're saying that two people could act as each other's
Another
accomplices
steak?
to commit two separate murders.
I think that's what the true killer told Hifumi. They would each have an accomplice for their crime. And based on the case's events, Hifumi would have been the first one to act, murdering Taka. They made him carry out the first murder so he couldn't back out of helping them later on.
So in this case, there wasn't one single person committing multiple murders. Instead, each person killed someone, creating two separate incidents. And it only looked like one person because that's how the true killer designed it to look. A single suspicious individual, a similar weapon used in each crime, disappearing bodies. By creating one seamless set of circumstances, they made it look like one person was behind it all.
The mastermind picked their target and managed to convince him to go along with their plan. And then, to avoid the no accomplices rule, they simply killed their accomplice. Which, if true, means that betraying Hifumi was part of the plan from the very beginning.
That's just awful. How could anyone be so cruel?
I mean... Death Game's gonna... You guys were at an all-time low, honestly.
You think so? I can't help but admire its cunning. Still, their choice of accomplice seems... odd.
Yeah, that was a dud. The effort made to convince us the two murders were the same. That was the main characteristic this time. Kyoko must have noticed that fact from the very beginning. Which is why she said not to look at this as a series of connected events, but as entirely separate incidents. Kyoko really is amazing, although, when you think about it, she's almost too amazing. Makoto, you are not good enough for that woman. Like, it's almost unnatural how good she is at this. And this is why Kyoko is best girl.
I understand how an accomplice could be involved. But then, who was the one pulling Hifumi's strings?
Celeste! Oh my god! Obviously!
That's problem numero uno right now.
The true killer manipulated Hifumi to carry out a number of actions, and in the end murdered him. In debates up till now, the weight of the case has always unfolded when you consider all that. There's really only one person who seems to fit.
Here's my answer. It was Celeste.
Obviously.
So I'm the suspicious individual now, am I? I really do hate this kind of joke.
A joke? I wonder...
So what you are saying, then, is that I specifically chose to work together with Hifumi. The idea that I would choose to spend any amount of time interacting with him...
You literally had him making you tea!
That I would go within 10 feet of that shit for brains, that lazy, worthless goddamn idiot!
Your accent's slipping, dear.
Pardonnez-moi.
Just to be clear, there is evidence to support it.
Is that so?
It is. Throughout the investigation, there was certain behavior that was common only to the two of you. Considering what we've learned so far, it only further proves that the two of you were working together.
You know, Celeste?
I got it! The behavior they had in common has to do with the suspicious individual in the suit, doesn't it?
You know, Celeste, if instead of doing this convoluted grand scheme, you had just whacked someone over the head and walked away, you would have had a better chance of getting away with it.
The only ones who ever actually saw Robo-Justice firsthand were Celeste and Hifumi.
Shush, the adults are talking now.
You're 16, Byakuya!
Sorry.
As he said, only Celeste and Hifumi ever laid eyes on the costumed individual.
Why did Makoto apologize? You and Byakuya are the same age.
If we accept that Hifumi was one of the culprits, we can't help but suspect what Celeste has said as well.
Are you saying everything they told us was a lie?
Hifumi, Hina, Hifumi and Celeste, murdered, stealed, and you're surprised that they lied on top of all that?
After taking Hifumi to the nurse's office, we all began our search for this individual, correct? And not too long after that, do you remember what Celeste said?
I saw a shadow. Something moving around at the top of the stairs.
We headed to the second floor specifically because of what she claimed to have seen. Next, to draw us all to the physics lab up on the third floor,
She let out a blood-curdling scream.
and when we'd all come to see what was wrong, what was it she said?
Celeste, what's wrong? That was a rather intense scream for someone like you. I saw him, the strange costumed man. He ran off as soon as I screamed. I was blocking the stairs, so he headed further down into the hallway and disappeared.
Once she'd done her job of getting us all up to the physics lab, it was time for her partner to get to work.
It was to get us to divide into two groups. So that we would discover both bodies at the same time?
In fact, Celeste was precisely the one who proposed that we split up.
Then why don't we split into two groups? I'll lead the hunting party. That seems much more interesting. Very well then, Makoto and Hina, you come with me to the nurse's office. I will leave the capture of the suspicious individual to Toko, Byakuya, and Sakura.
Well, if Celeste and Hifumi were working together, all those chance events suddenly become connected. And on top of that, that piercing cry of yours early on. That was to signal Hifumi, wasn't it? It was your way of telling him, we're on the third floor, everything's going according to plan. Why else would you let out a scream that could have carried across the sea?
I just realized another strange thing. When we found Hifumi in the nurse's office, who we now know was only pretending to be dead,
I certainly was not expecting this. I did not imagine that Hifumi would be murdered.
Celeste, you were the first one to say he'd been murdered. You wanted to make sure we wouldn't have any doubt in our minds.
I don't believe it. Everything. The whole thing was one big act.
Hina, you were with Celeste when Hifumi's body disappeared, right?
Yeah. I was feeling kinda sick, so Celeste took me to the bathroom. Wait! Then that was...
She wasn't worried about you. She just saw a chance to help Hifumi sneak out of the nurse's office.
Each piece isn't much by itself, but start putting them together and the picture gets very ugly indeed. Wouldn't you agree, Celeste?
I have no idea what you mean.
Okay, go with that. That'll work for you.
Don't bother trying to deny it. You made one fatal mistake.
You chose to work with an idiot like Hifumi.
Oh, did I?
I didn't even catch it myself when you first said it, but looking back, I can say that that one little slip-up was your undoing.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about what you said after Hifumi's body disappeared and we returned to the nurse's office.
They must really be enjoying this. Enjoying the sight of us standing around, frightened and confused. We're all going to die here. We're going to die, just like those guys did.
I remember her saying that too, but I don't understand what's so strange about it.
Then pay attention. Sakura, Toko, and I were first to discover Taka's body in the equipment room. Then Makoto showed up and told us Hifumi had been killed, so Sakura and I left with Makoto. Once we were in the hall, we ran into Celeste, and the four of us headed to the nurse's office. Now, the entire time we were together, none of us said anything about Taka being dead. Think about it. Celeste's comment doesn't make sense. It was completely out of place.
Yeah, I see what you're talking about. Although I don't really get what it means.
You hear that, Celeste? Everyone's having some trouble understanding. Could you repeat what you said? If you're really not the culprit, you shouldn't have any problem repeating it, right?
Byakuya said that Celeste's comment doesn't make sense. What is he alluding to? Makoto, I should not need to hold your hand as much as I have been.
All I said was... They must really be enjoying this. Enjoying the sight of us standing around, frightened and confused. They must be positively elated. We are all going to die here. We are going to die, just like those guys died. And that is all I said.
And that's all it takes to finish this. It's obvious, isn't it? What was so strange about Celeste's comment?
Oh, I missed it.
All I said, they must really be enjoying the sight of us. They must be. We are all going to die. We are going to die, just like those guys died. And that is.
And that's all it takes.
What was so strange about Celeste's comment?
Oh, wrong thing.
Shoot!
All I said, they must really be enjoying the sight of us. They must be. We are all going to. We are going to die. And that is.
And that's
All it takes. What was so strange about Celeste's comment?
All I said, they must really be enjoying the sight of us. They must be. We are all going to. We are going to die.
Just
There we go.
No, that's wrong. That's right. There's no reason Celeste should have said, just like those guys died. When she said that, none of us had told her Taka was dead.
Exactly. And we didn't run into her until after we were all out in the hall. So there was never any chance for her to have seen his body in the equipment room for herself.
So how did you know, Celeste?
Because she told Hifumi to do it.
How did you know more than one person had been killed? And how did you know they were both guys?
It's her fault Hifumi took my baby from me.
Because Kyoko had also disappeared, right? So she could have been dead too.
Oh, she's lost it.
You all have such vivid imaginations. You know that?
Imaginations.
You claim that I was lying when I told you about the suspicious person I saw. Then what about the picture I took? How do you explain this picture of the costumed villain dragging Hifumi away?
Hifumi was carrying Hiro's unconscious body in that thing.
It has to be some kind of setup, right? So let's put the suit on, and then...
Have you so quickly forgotten? You are the only one who could have possibly fit into that suit. Plus, I happen to know that this particular camera does not have a timer. In other words, it is an unassailable fact that this is a picture of Hifumi being dragged away. If everything I told you was a lie, how can this picture exist?
I think it was less about it could have been Kyoko that was murdered, and it was more about when she said that, I don't think they told her that Taka had been murdered too. She had only known Hifumi was dead at that point.
Simple. Are we sure that's really a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away?
But I do think Japan has more gendered language, so it would have been much more clear in the original text that she was specifically talking about two boys being killed rather than two people being killed.
What could you possibly mean by that?
I mean, if she had used a more general neutral term, if she had said like the others, then it could have been vague enough that she was talking about not more people than Hifumi being killed, but more people as in Sayaka being killed, Chihiro being killed, now Hifumi's been killed. She could have been referring to like the other classmates who had been murdered earlier before this event. But because she specifically said those guys, it kind of...
Surely there are other explanations than the one you've offered up.
No, there is no other explanation.
Other explanations. If it wasn't a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away, the only other possibility is Hifumi is dragging the suspect away.
It's not a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away. I would say it's a picture of Hifumi dragging the suspect away.
That's certainly within the realm of possibility. The one being dragged off in that picture isn't Hifumi, but the person in the robot suit. We've simply been led to believe that it's the other way around. And the strange costume might only exist to lead us astray even farther. If you saw someone wearing something like that in this situation, of course you'd notice and be suspicious.
That's what happened! You put me to sleep and made me out to be the bad guy in all this!
Such a thing is utterly impossible.
Are we really gonna drag this out?
Hifumi was dragging him away? Ridiculous.
I mean, it's so obviously Celeste, and we're still, like, letting her defend herself here?
Is it? I don't think it's ridiculous at all.
Then shut your mouth and allow me to educate you.
Celeste thinks she can prove there's no way Hifumi was dragging the suspect away. But is that really possible? Oh god, we're still doing this. Guys, she's guilty as sin. Oh my god.
You dressed me up in that suit after I passed out!
My poor man.
Then you just draped me across Hifumi and had him carry my weight! You tried to make me look like the bad guy!
Like I said, ridiculous. As you can see in the picture, the suspect is standing perfectly upright. If the person inside the suit was unconscious, there's no way they could stand up straight like...
No, that's wrong. No. Even if the person inside the suit were unconscious, they could still stand up like that. Because that Robo-Justice suit had a certain characteristic.
It can't bend at the waist. We've had this flashback like twice already.
They totally made a mistake when they made it, so it couldn't bend at the waist.
I'm not so sure that was a mistake. I think the suit was designed from the beginning to be used the way it was.
Celeste and Hifumi took the suit they'd specially designed and stuffed Hiro into it. That's how they were able to fake that whole thing. The point of it all was to make us believe whoever was in the suit was to blame.
Well then, I suppose this is checkmate.
Checkmate?
Everyone back away slowly. She might have a knife.
Don't make me laugh, you idiot! What do you mean, checkmate? Celeste?
Your accent's slipping again.
Clearly, you want to cram me into your little guilty box. Well, there's one little problem.
Have you already forgotten what Hifumi told us as he lay dying?
Hey, Hifumi! Who was it? Who attacked you? Who tried to kill you? Who killed me? That's right, I remember their name. Yasu. Hiro.
When we asked him who had attacked him, his answer was quite clear, was it not?
Look, Hifumi committing to framing Hiro could have just him being a simp to the end, even after you betrayed him.
He said, and I quote, Yasuhiro. In other words, Yasuhiro Hagakure!
Wait! But my name isn't really Yasuhiro! It's actually Taro!
Oh my god, Hiro, baby, don't do this.
Your confusing statements don't make any sense. You're only making things more complicated.
He did say Yasuhiro, but are we sure he was really pointing the finger at Hiro?
Like, literally, everyone would just be saying, like, Hifumi fucking murdered someone because Celeste told him to. If even after she had killed and betrayed him, he might have just fucking still been covering for her. out of some twisted sick love.
What the hell are you talking about? I'll burn you alive!
Oh, big talk, baby cakes. Where are the matches?
Kyoko, what do you mean by that?
Think back to how Hifumi used to talk to us. How did he refer to each of us?
He said people's last names.
I got it! That's right! Our last names! He called us all by our last names!
Exactly. I know I heard him say Mr. Naegi more than once, for example. So if Hifumi did mean to say Hiro's name, he would have said his last name, Hagakure.
I'm sure it was just incidental. By chance, his first name. Indecent?
Don't talk.
Random chance. Now isn't that a convenient explanation? No, there's no reason to think he would have said the name any different than normal. But he must have run out of energy before he could say any more.
So Hifumi was trying to tell us the last name of whoever killed him?
But the name he said doesn't apply to anyone here.
Well, no. Hold on. There's one person it could apply to. And that's Celeste. She never actually told us what her real name is.
What did you just say? To think you'd take your false accusation so far, I don't know whether to laugh or spit! Come on! Enough with your idiotic blather! Yasuhiro is a loser's name! Do I look like a loser to you?
Celeste, you're Japanese. Stop pretending to be European. It's weird.
Well, do I? What? I think I've earned the right to be a little on edge.
Okay, then fill us in. What's your real name?
Fine. Make sure your ear holes are wide open and listen up! My real name is Celestia Ludenberg. Could you please stop making me repeat myself over and over again?
Celeste still won't give up, so then I have to do something to make her accept it.
Hifumi was trying to tell us something. He wanted us to know the killer's last name, Yasuhiro.
If there's one person here who might have that last name...
It would have to be you, Celeste. You haven't told anyone what your real name is.
How many times do I have to tell you? My name is... Celestia Ludenberg, god damn it!
Why has no one been talking about her dropping her
How
accent?
long do you plan to go on pretending?
I'm not pretending. It's the truth. And since you have no
Way to contradict me.
God damn it.
That's the only truth there is!
Fucking got blocked.
Hifumi he wanted us to know the killers. If there's one person...
It would have to be you, Celeste.
How many times? Celestia Ludenberg!
How long do you plan to...
I'm not pretending. And since
You have no way to contradict
me...
No, that's wrong! That's it! The handbook!
What?
Anytime you turn your handbook on, it shows the owner's name when it boots up, right? Monokuma told us all about it before.
The handbook is absolutely vital to a healthy school life, so don't lose it! When you start it up, it will display your name. Always make sure you have the right one. Now this is not your everyday notebook. It has so many more uses than that.
So all we have to do is check her handbook, and that'll clear up everything. That's how we can find out Celeste's real name.
That's an invasion of privacy. I refuse to cooperate.
Celeste, can you please just tell us what really happened? Please, just tell us.
Even when I'm put in check, it's just my nature not to give up. Because Because... Until the game's over, you never know what might happen!
Fine then. Let me settle it. Let me go over the case again, from the beginning, and shed light on all your crimes. And that'll bring everything to an end.
Let's look at the times. 1 a.m. They drugged Hero. Hero showed up. They drugged him. They took the picture. Taka showed up. He had his watch out. They killed my baby! They moved that there so they could have it later. We all went there. That all happened. Justice Hammer 2. Justice Hammer 4. We find the bodies. No, wait. Justice Hammer 3. Then Justice Hammer 4. Then killed with the bloody mallet.
The killer is you! Before anything, the killer persuaded someone to help carry out the murder. And that person was... Hifumi. With an accomplice, the killer was able to execute a number of otherwise impossible schemes. First, they convinced someone to meet them in the rec room, last night at 1 in the morning. That someone they met with was Hero. The murderous duo intended to pass Hero off as the prime suspect. So when they met up with him, they drugged him, knocked him out, and stuffed him into the Robo-Justice suit. Next, Hifumi positioned himself to make it look like Robo-Justice was attacking him, while the killer used a digital camera to take pictures of the assault. They did all this just to create evidence that would put the suspicion on Hero. When they were done with him, they shoved him, still unconscious, into the pool room locker. And then finally, at 6 a.m., they moved into the murder phase of their plan. They called Taka to the equipment room. And that's where Hifumi killed him, making it the scene of the first murder.
Little fucker. Oh yeah, we gotta put down that he put down the hammer. Justice Hammer 3. Which Justice Hammer was it? It was Justice Hammer 3, because first it was all of those. Put Justice Hammer 3 there. Then Hifumi put Justice Hammer... Here's Justice Hammer 2 here. Then he did all that. Then he got on the move. Oh, wait. Then he did Justice Hammer 4. Fucking hammers. That's when he moved everything down there.
Here's exactly what happened. And that's where Hifumi killed him, making it the scene of the first murder.
What? Oh, did I not fucking... Did I get the number of the hammers wrong again? Oh, it's 4? Yeah, fuck. Where'd I put 4? Oh, yeah. Now I
Here's
got it right.
exactly what happened. And that's where Hifumi killed him, making it the scene of the first murder. The murder weapon was Justice Hammer 4, which was left there in the equipment room. The reason Hammer number 4 was used was to create confusion about the order of the crimes. So, next they falsified 2 more assault incidents. For these attacks, the killers pretended to be the victims to solidify Robo Justice as the suspect. The first fake incident was the attack in the rec room. There, the killers wanted us to see Justice Hammer 1 and the Robo Justice pictures they'd taken. They wanted to make sure we bought the surprise attack story. The second fake incident was the attack in the library. This time, they planted Justice Hammer 2 and an injured Hifumi to sell us that story. With these 2 incidents, the killers were able to create a certain preconception in our minds. That the suspect was increasing the size of the hammers and attacking people in order as they did. We fell right into their trap and started looking for the suspect based on that. But while we did that, we left Hifumi alone in the nurse's office. This was exactly what Hifumi was hoping for. He took a blood packet from the refrigerator and Justice Hammer 3 and turned the room into a crime scene in which he himself had apparently been brutally murdered. He let out a scream to draw us back, and when we returned, that's what we found. Meanwhile, the other group that had been out searching found Taka's body at the same time. So when we heard the body discovery announcement, we naturally assumed it was for Hifumi. We left the nurse's office, and Hifumi once again took advantage of the situation. He simply got up and made his escape. When we learned his body had disappeared, we all rushed back to the nurse's office. And once again, Hifumi had the chance he was waiting for. This time, he snuck into the equipment room. He wrapped Taka's body in a tarp and used the dolly to move it all the way down to the repository. That explains how each of the bodies disappeared. But even Hifumi didn't know what the true killer had in mind for their final act. Their plan all along was to kill Hifumi and get rid of the one person who could betray them. And they did it using an ordinary, everyday hammer from the repository. That should cover everything that happened in this case. And the villain behind it all is...
Why does this look like a shoujo opening?
Celeste! Sorry, you lose.
I lost?
Yeah.
When was the last time I was forced to utter such words? They hang heavy around my neck.
Oh my god! Stop being so dramatic. You're just about to be executed for murder.
Then you admit it? You're the killer?
Listen to you, trying to take charge, as if you're my private instructor. I, Celestia Ludenberg. Actually, no. Taiko Yasuhiro is fine.
Taiko?
So, you finally accepted it.
I'm the kind of person, once I've lost, I don't like things to drag on.
Thank God. Can we get this over with?
Interesting.
Okay, Monokuma. I'm ready to begin. Or, no. I suppose this is the end, isn't it?
It is indeed the moment we've all been waiting for. Time to vote. Okay? Okay. If you would, please locate your lever and cast your vote. And when the votes are tallied, who will become the blackened? Will you make the right choice or the dreadfully wrong one? What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? What?
It's basically a formality at this point, but once again, you're totally correct. The blackened this time, the true killer who devised the whole stinking scheme was Celestia Ludenberg, or more precisely, Taiko Yasuhiro.
Honestly.
I lost. Well, that sucks. I guess trying to work with someone else was a mistake after all. Hifumi's ineptitude was beyond all my calculations.
I knew it.
So you really did approach Hifumi with this plan. But how did you get him to agree? I can't imagine he would have happily agreed to commit murder. Teenage boys will do a lot for pussy. I'm sure she relied on her specialty, lying. My specialty? Don't make me laugh. I didn't have to lie to get him to agree.
So then...
Then did you use, you know... Oh, just say alter ego. Monokuma already knows about it. You guys had no problem talking about alter ego in front of the cameras earlier. I knew you'd figure it out, Kyoko. You're right. You're absolutely right. To get Hifumi to act as my accomplice, I used her. For everyone who's still left, I'll avoid mentioning its name, but it was the one thing Hifumi and Taka were both super into. The two-timing, catfishing little slut. Does she mean... Is she talking about alter ego? Yeah, that whore. I will continue to slut shame an AI.
Say what?
What? What? What are you talking about?
Just a second.
Don't interrupt. We're in the middle of a very important discussion here. I'm totally out of the loop, as usual. How sad.
In other words...
Then you're the one that stole it.
Indeed.
That's right.
I see.
And you used it to drag Hifumi into the plan you'd come up with. Right again. Last night, after we had our meeting about how it disappeared, I paid Hifumi a little visit. What are you doing here?
Actually,
I was hoping I could talk to you, alone. It is about what was stolen. I know who did it.
What?
What?
are you okay
It was
with
Taka. He stole it. I love how Celeste starts this off with saying, I didn't have to lie to get Hifumi to join me. And then immediately is like, yeah, I lied to him. I lied that Taka stole alter ego. What?
So then...
And I have proof. Would you like to see it? As it turned out, I found a use for the digital camera. I'd taken you-know-what to Taka's room earlier and took pictures there. Was Taka leaving the door to his room unlocked? God damn it. He always was too trusting. He really shouldn't have trusted any of these fuckers.
Damnation!
So it was him! But how did he do it? She was supposed to yell if either of us got close to her!
You are correct, which is why Taka forced me to steal it.
Say what?
What?
As for me...
Please forgive me. He threatened me. Oh my god, you melodramatic little bitch.
Oh.
He did?
As for me...
He came to my room unannounced, and then it's hard for me to even say. He abused me. Celeste is truly the lowest kind of woman.
Damnation!
That's a crime! An absolute crime! I knew it got a little crazy, but...
Say what?
I never imagined he would go that far!
You know what? Say what you will about Hifumi. He may be a fucking jackass, but at least he's a jackass that believes women, even when they're very clearly lying.
I'm about to say something I've never said before in my life. I'm going to kill him! I'm going to fucking kill him!
And kill everyone else too while you're at it. Guess you don't give a shit about the others all that much. I mean, even if Hifumi did believe Celeste and thought that he needed to kill Taka to keep her safe, he was still perfectly okay with letting Makoto, Kyoko, Byakuya, Toko, Hina, and Sakura all fucking die.
Most unfortunate.
Anything for his waifu.
Actually...
Taka is planning to use Alter Ego to escape, and he has made you his target.
What?
Escape? You don't mean...
Taka is going to try to kill you.
What?
Indeed.
And also he can keep her to himself. That
Bastard!
Completely
Bastard, bastard, bastard!
Honestly.
Can we allow him to continue with these barbaric acts?
Absolutely not! How could I? She...
I swear!
I have to save her!
Actually...
Then would you like to join me? It just so happens I have come up with a plan.
Huh?
I have devised a way to reclaim what he has stolen and escape this dreadful school. And with that, it is complete.
What are you talking about?
Oh, nothing. Hifumi agreed without a second thought. The effect that item had on him was remarkable. The power of love, even a love as twisted as that, can still drive people mad, it would seem. You disgust me.
I see.
I have another question for you. What was that strange costume Hifumi's creation?
Indeed.
Yeah, it was a real pain in the butt, too. All I asked him to do was make something to hide the face and general body size. I had no idea he'd make something like that, but it's my fault for picking him in the first place.
But...
So, why would you decide to make me the suspect? Because you're stupid.
Huh?
That's it?
Let's see...
In that regard, I made the right choice. I'm so glad your stupidity surpassed my expectation. Life must have been tough on your parents, though. I feel like I could cry.
Well,
But then, when you were explaining your plan to Fumi, how did you explain the part about him playing dead? What she's asking is, what was Hifumi supposed to do after that, assuming you actually let him live?
Are you okay with this?
That's simple. After he did his part and pretended to be dead, once someone showed up, I told him he'd say he'd been seriously wounded. He was on the verge of death, but just barely held on. And he really believed that? Well, of course, that wasn't all there was to it. As I explained it to Fumi, the plan was, while you were all questioning him about what had happened to him, I was going to murder someone else. At that point, Hifumi would have an alibi, so nobody could doubt him. I told him that, and he believed it. It all seems very straightforward. Stereotypical. I just matched the lie to the level of the opponent. In fact, Hifumi ate it up. He believed the lie wholeheartedly, right up until the moment of his death.
so in the end...
So you had planned to kill him all along. But of course. There would have been no point to my plan if the one who pretended to be dead did not end up dead himself.
What the heck?
How can human life mean so little to you?
Well,
that's a non-issue. I simply did everything in my power to win.
Don't be mean!
Now you sound like Byakuya.
I wonder about that.
No, he derives pleasure from the thrill of the hunt. In that aspect, we are nothing alike.
Why?
Then why did you take things this far?
What the heck?
Was it really just for money?
Hmm.
Are you talking about the $10 million Monokuma offered us? That is a lot of money. It's true. But that's not all there is to it. From the moment our new life here began, my only thought has been escape.
But
all along you've been saying how we have to accept living here.
You little bitch.
Obviously that was a lie.
Hey!
I couldn't take it. I hated it from day one. More than anyone else in here.
You little
I wanted to get out. Every day was fresh torture. And do you want to know why? Huh?
This is fine.
Because I had a dream. And accepting a life here would mean nothing less than giving up on my dream forever.
Honestly.
There was no way that I could ever do that. In the underground world of gambling, I risked my life to make a metaphorical living.
As for me...
But it was all for that dream. And that dream of yours was?
Isn't it wonderful?
To live in a European castle. A castle? Why does your manservant look like Byakuya without his glasses? And to gather handsome men from all over the world to serve as my butler/bodyguards. I was going to make them dress up like vampires and satisfy my every need. Once I obtained that, I would have created a perfectly aesthetic world of decadence.
This is fine.
Living the rest of my life there was my only dream, my only goal. That's what life is all about. Combined with my own winnings, Monokuma's $10 million would have made that dream a reality. I got right to the edge, but...
There is nothing to be done.
Unfortunately, my dream has been scattered to the wind. Still, I don't have any regrets. I pursued my dream till the very end, so why would I?
Just the worst.
You sound so passionate, but you were really able to kill your own friends for it?
Oh.
Are you asking me to feel guilty? That's a pointless endeavor. I think nothing of sacrificing others for my own ends. I feel nothing.
Do you understand?
That's all there is to me. That's what makes me complete. Isn't it terrifying how different our values are? There's simply no room for understanding.
What is this?
That's what we should be saying. And plus, how can you be so calm? Don't you realize you're about to die? Why aren't you scared? My ability to lie is unrivaled, and I take pride in that. It's not just other people. I can even fool my own emotions. The conscious deceives the unconscious. And that's why you're not scared?
Yes, indeed.
That's right. I don't fear death. Kill me however you like. But you know, if I could be reincarnated, if I had a choice then,
isn't it wonderful?
I think I would like to come back as Marie Antoinette.
Hey.
You just get executed again. Celeste smiled then. And when she did, it looked to me like a poor effort to force it. She claimed she could fool her own feelings. But that statement itself must have been her final lie. You know, as angry as I am at Celeste, for as absolutely loathsome of a creature as she is, I feel sorry for her. Because I don't think she did this for the money. I think she knew she was going to kill someone way sooner than than the money motive was dropped. I think after Trial 2, when everyone kept breaking the nighttime rule, when everyone fell apart, I think that's when she truly gave up. And I think that she just used the money as an excuse. That as awful as she has been, and as much as she insists she doesn't feel bad, I think this is all an act. I think that she was scared. She was scared of being the next one murdered. And she was willing to do anything to make sure it wasn't her. And that when she did all of this, she knew that if she got caught, she would be thought of as a monster. And she wants it that way. She'd rather everyone remember her as this horrible, awful villain than think of her as a victim. Than think of her as the scared little girl she actually is. And that's why I pity her. And you know what? In a way, it's really satisfying for me. Because knowing Celeste, she would hate having my pity more than she would ever care about my hatred. And I like that. I like that a lot. And that weak fake smile is what betrayed her.
Thrills, chills, kills!
You all done? Okay then, let's get rolling. The Blackened disturbed the peace and must pay the price.
Now then, I've prepared a very
Now
special
then,
punishment!
I've prepared a very special punishment for her, the ultimate gambler.
Let's give it everything we've got! It's punishment time!
I guess I'll let Kyoko hold on to this.
What?
This is...
Will it really give you the hope you're looking for? I can't say I ever saw it that way. Which is why... Actually, it's not important. Well then, take care, everyone. Perhaps we'll meet again, in another life.
Da-da-da-da-da-da. Another one bites the dust. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Another one bites the dust, and another one does, and another one does, and another one bites the dust. Dun-dun, dun-dun-dun-dun. Another one bites the dust. Oh, shit. Well, I know where the matches are. Okay. Bye, Celeste. I wish I could say it was nice knowing you, but it really wasn't. You were kind of a bitch the whole time. It's over. The third execution is over. Celeste's death is over. Celeste killed my friends, so I can't pity her, but I also can't deny that at one point I considered her a friend too. And for him to just come along and... Isn't it just awful? Someone couldn't cut free of their regrets from the outside world, so more people had to die here.
Extreme!
You guys are still young. You need to place more value on your lives.
What are you gonna do?
Jeez, and here I thought you guys were gonna pass the torch of hope to the next generation.
Let me out of here!
What do I care about hope? I'll throw it in the trash if you just let me out of here.
Too bad.
You're all the embodiment of hope, whether you like it or not. And it's my destiny to knock you down one by one. It's sad, yes it is, but that reality just can't be avoided. Don't talk like you're not... Oh yeah, Makoto, not Monokuma saying this. Don't talk like you're not responsible. How long are you gonna make us keep going through this? What do you want from us? Monokuma has been very clear in what he wants. He wants you guys to keep killing each other.
How strange.
God, I'm so sick of people asking me that. Give it a rest already. So anyway, Kyoko, did I see you get some kind of key type object from Celeste?
Hey!
So, what's the deal with that?
What?
Huh? What's the matter?
So then,
I'll answer your question if you answer mine. What did you do? What did you do to me?
Ooh.
What?
hey,
Answer me. What did you do to my body?
Ooh.
Oh, man, jeez. Oh, what do you mean? What did I do? I have no idea. I don't know anything about it. Huh. What was that just now? The mastermind did something to Kyoko's body? What does that mean?
Hello.
Okay, things are getting kind of awkward. I think it's about time I got out of here.
Well?
Meanwhile, you guys can go on enjoying your school life. If you get lonely, give me a shout. Not that I'll do anything about it, of course.
See ya later!
Monokuma disappeared, leaving us all depressed and in despair. Although it wasn't all despair. There was one small hope. Hey, Kyoko, Monokuma already mentioned it, but what was that key that Celeste gave you?
so...
Most likely. The key to the dressing room lockers. Huh, then that means... Celeste probably hid it in there.
Hey,
I suppose sometimes it's easiest to miss what's right beneath your nose. Well then, we'd better go check.
Indeed.
Good idea. We left the courtroom and rushed to the dressing room. As we approached the dressing room, Kyoko looked back at us and said,
Hey,
I'm going to go alone from here. Everyone else head into the dining hall. I'll check in with you later.
What?
Why exactly are you going alone?
so...
Do you even have to ask? As she spoke, she glanced at the surveillance camera. Oh, now you care about that.
Come on.
That's not what I mean. Why you? There's still the risk of a spy, you know. Then I'll go too.
What?
You? Please, let me go. Standing here arguing is just going to draw more attention to us.
Goodbye.
Do whatever you want. Thank you, Byakuya.
well then.
Then it's up to you now.
Yo!
I'm gonna go to the dining hall, okay? Huh? So Makoto and Kyoko are gonna go together? Hina, get your mind out of the gutter. Does that mean what I think it means?
Okay.
Good luck, Makoto. Girls like her are total pushovers when you show a little backbone. What does that mean? I tried to forget what Hina said. Everyone headed to the dining hall, leaving me and Kyoko there alone.
Shall we go?
Well, shall we? Yeah,
So then,
we need to get into that locker. Kyoko took the key Celeste had given her and unlocked the locker. And as the locker swung open, we saw...
You really came.
Good morning! It's been a while, hasn't it? It's safe. Thank goodness. I'd never heard Kyoko sound so relieved. It was like she was speaking from the bottom of her heart. I did just what Celeste asked. I didn't say a word. I stayed quiet the whole time. Alter ego is an accessory to murder. Alter ego, catfishing, two-timing, little slut AI is an accessory to murder. Because when everyone was freaking out about where Alter Ego was, if Alter Ego had realized, maybe I shouldn't listen to what Celeste said. Maybe this is a bad thing. And started screaming for the others to open the locker, Take and Hifumi would still be alive right now. Celeste would still be alive right now. 3 people are dead because Alter Ego agreed to this shit. And while I don't think Alter Ego knew what they were agreeing to do here, that doesn't change the fact that at the end of the day, Alter Ego is an accessory to murder. Little fucking skank. I hate this AI. I hate this AI so fucking much. Because you know what? You know what? Hifumi being horrible, Celeste being horrible, Byakuya being horrible, everyone else doing horrible things in this death game to hurt other people, I can at least give them the sympathy and compassion of, hey, they've been trapped in a death game and they're all a bunch of scared teenagers. I feel sorry for them. I feel sorry for them that they were pushed to the breaking point and did something horrible that they can't take back. I feel sorry for them. But Alter Ego isn't a human. Alter Ego isn't a scared teenager. Alter Ego is a fucking machine. Alter Ego doesn't get fear as an excuse.
So,
Oh, and I think I might be able to open the last sets of files soon. Maybe as early as tomorrow. I'm doing my best, so please wait just a while longer. So now we can officially say the case is closed. As far as the incident is concerned, sure, but can we take a second? Since we have this opportunity, I want you to be honest with me. Kyoko, please tell me. What are you trying to do all on your own here at the school? Is that why you wanted to come with me?
However...
Regardless, that's not something you need to know right now. I don't need to know? That just makes me even more worried.
What?
Worried? Like what happened during the investigation this time? You disappeared. We didn't see you again. Without warning, without explanation. When you do that...
Indeed.
It's only natural they think I'm the mastermind spy, right? And you too. No! I believe in you!
What?
You believe in me? Isn't it obvious? People believe in their friends, right? That's why I want you to tell me. And I want you to believe in me too. Because we're friends. I understand.
It's true.
Then maybe I can believe in you. Just a little bit more. Then...
That's fine.
Fine, I'll tell you. I'll tell you why I've been disappearing and where I've been going. You see, what I heard from Kyoko then was, well, frankly, it kind of blew my mind. Right after I told Kyoko I believe in her, she told me a story that was, well, almost unbelievable. I decided I had to confirm what she told me with my own 2 eyes, so I waited for nighttime to come. And when it did, I went into action.
Correct.
The boys' bathroom on the 2nd floor doesn't have a surveillance camera or monitor in it. And in the storage closet there, way in the back, she said there was a way in the back of the boys' bathroom to a storage closet. Could Kyoko be right about this? It's just a normal storage closet as far as I can tell. The secret Kyoko told me about, could it really be hidden in here? She said it was in the back of the storage closet, but I mean seriously? Without thinking, I placed my hand on the back of the closet, and suddenly, as if I were being yanked in, the same time I heard that sound, I fell through the wall. I had no idea what was going on. I had fallen through the back of the storage closet. Huh? It turned out, the back wall was like a revolving door, and I'd made my way to the other side. Just like Kyoko had said.
Correct.
In the boys' bathroom on the 2nd floor, there's a storage closet, and way in the back of that closet, there's a secret room. So this is the secret room. But what's in here? It's just a normal desk with normal drawers. There's a bunch of files and what look like volume after volume of yearbooks. They're all covered in dust. Looking at everything, one file at the edge of the bookshelf caught my eye. Hope's Peak Academy Student Registry. This is the only thing in here not covered in dust. Has someone been looking at it recently? I slipped the file into my hand. And before I had a chance to take a look at it, a slip of paper fell out of the file and I turned my attention to it. What's this? You must not leave. That's kind of weird. I could understand if it said I can't leave, but you must not leave? What is this? My head feels funny. This strange sensation. It's like deja vu. Those words, you must not leave. I've seen them somewhere before, but I can't quite remember. What do I know? What don't I know? You're fucked! Makoto! A strange sound rang out through my head. I felt like it was shaking my brain back and forth. And then, darkness. I don't understand what's happening. I don't know what started it. It's all over. And with that, I opened my eyes. I didn't know how long it had been. Ow. Apparently something hit me and I lost consciousness. That's all I understood. The dull, throbbing pain in my head proved that much at least. An empty bookshelf. Empty? Gone. It's all gone. The yearbooks, the student registry, and even the note that had fallen out on the floor. It's all gone. What does this mean? But my brain refused to do any more work. The insistent pain in my head began to spread across the rest of my body. For now, I should go back to my room, get some rest. My body was heavy with pain, my mind heavy with thought. I dragged myself back toward my room. Somehow, I made it back to the first floor of the school. The farther I walked in, the more I felt things were getting blurry. Can't see in front of me. I couldn't stop myself from collapsing right there. And after that... As if from a vast distance, I heard a sound. It was faint but undeniable. That sound, it's coming from the gym? As I desperately hauled my shaky frame toward the gym, the sound got stronger and stronger. What's going on? It can't be nothing. Here in the gym? I didn't make a sound as I opened the door to the gym. The sound coming from inside, meanwhile, only intensified that much more. Before me, there raged a battle beyond anything humanly possible. No one side's not human, that's for sure, but regardless, I couldn't stop staring. I forgot to move, or even breathe.
Why, you? What do you think you're doing? I asked you a question. What's the meaning of this? How dare you defy me? This wasn't part of the deal!
The deal?
I've made a decision. I will no longer retreat, no longer compromise, no longer regret. I've made my decision. I'm going to resist you.
Okay. But you do realize what will happen if you go through with this, right? You haven't forgotten, have you? What I'm holding hostage?
What am I looking at? What am I hearing? A hostage? Then could it be? The mastermind spy is... A next generation legend. Stand tall, galactic hero. The end. And then there were 7. What are we gonna do with the fucking robot justice costume? Okay, let's save here. And this is a good place to stop for now. I'll see you all again tomorrow at 12. And until next time, show's over.